Credit Union. Your
Blue Note Hockey Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Blue Note Fan Report. Oh my goodness, have these first week of the playoffs, the first week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is, been out freaking standing, man. All four series, the first series went 2-2 or going 6 games. Right now, all but maybe two series are going to go 6. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but first, let me bring in my buddy, my pal, the man, the myth, the legend from Full Press Hockey, Mr. Jim Merger.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. I thought I'd send you an invitation. If you showed, you showed, and if you didn't, you didn't. So I'm kind of glad. What's going on in Islanderland?
What isn't going on in Islanderland is the real question. I mean, Lou Lamoriello breaking news this morning, firing Barry Trotz after 4 seasons, took the team to the playoffs. 3 of the 4 seasons, obviously, they make the playoffs this year. Went to back-to-back NHL semifinals, losing to the Stanley Cup champion. I mean, look, everybody says trust Lou and the process. I've known Lou and seen his handiwork for a long, long time. I'm telling you, with this roster at this time, this ain't on Barry Trotz.
Yeah, well, here's what I mean. I listened to a lot of info on this today, and one of the things that got brought up was the possibility that in some exit interviews that, players brought up some things, right? I think this is more than hockey. I seen you there, Ashley. I was just talking at the moment. I think this is more than hockey. I think that there's something else going on, and it concerns me because this will be the second, and I don't want to call old time, but senior type coach that loses his job for something not related to hockey, right? And one of the names brought up is the other coach. To be honest, I don't see Quenneville coming back, right? I mean, to me, the first thing Quenneville's going to get, the second he has a meeting with the league, is a 1-year suspension.
Oh, has to be given. That's
a minimum.
That's a minimum of 1-year suspension. That's a minimum. Right? At minimum.
I honestly think they'd give him 5.
Right? I don't think it'll be 5 years. I can see 1 to 3. And here's the thing. I think it should start from the day he has the interview and not backdated, not time served. Right? I don't think it should be one of those where you get credit for time served.
No, I agree with that. No, I mean,
right?
He's been out of the league, but he was forced out of the league. And
he was forced out. Well, he resigned. He resigned under pressure.
Right, exactly. I mean, there would have been a storm at the Florida Panthers' door if they kept him on.
To me, I don't think what happened this year was on Trotz at all.
No.
Right?
No
I mean,
way.
first of all, he's on the road for the first, 17 games or something like that?
13-game road trip to begin the year because the building's not ready.
Yeah, and he had a winning record, didn't he?
They were 1 game below NHL 500.
Okay, well, you know what? Or so points percentage, right?
Yeah.
I'll take that. If you're 2 points out of being under 500 after 13 games on the road, yeah, I'll take that.
I mean, dude, you would cuss if that was your team. You would be throwing a fit.
Well,
the Blues go on a 5-game win streak to start, and you were throwing a fit on the first loss.
Okay. Big difference over in a 13-game
road trip.
Oh, no. You would have called it a litmus test. And, he failed.
Boy, I'm getting called out today.
Getting killed right now. Just getting killed by
That's what you get for me not being on the show lately.
That's your fault, though. That's not mine.
Fire.
No, it's chemistry's fault. Stupid chemistry.
She's coming
Finals are next week.
She's coming in hot.
No, actually, Michael Edwards has a Chicago problem, and I do think that the Chicago problem is a much deeper than we think it is, right? I think that this is a systematic issue within the NHL,
I
right?
think so.
And it really is. And it's something that I think we're going to see more and more. And then not only that, remember Montgomery, right? Jim Montgomery in Dallas. All of a sudden, one day you hear Montgomery's gone, right? We're terminating him with cause for conduct unbecoming. This is something that is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. I think you're going to see a lot more coaches be let go for stuff like this. And I'll be honest, the ones that scare me the most are the Quinvilles, the Trotzes, the Berubis, the Wilson, right up in Calgary. Those are the guys. The old school guys are the ones that scare me the most, because the only thing that they worry about is winning, right? And they're not. I'm sorry, Lance. I know you may not like this, but the human aspect of the NHL has become very, very real.
Well, here's the thing. You screwed up when you put Jim Montgomery in with the Calgary coach. Jim Montgomery was fired for a drinking problem.
Okay.
He was not fired because of something
racial. That's not
racial.
what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm talking about. My concern is these old school coaches. These coaches that, like Berube, like Trotz, like Quinville, like Wilson, who's somebody else? The guy in Vancouver. Boudreau, right? These old school guys, these hammer it through your head guys that it's win at all cost. Well, the human game, the human aspect of hockey is now front and center. Guys like that are the guys I'm concerned with. The guys that are not. I'll be honest with you. I see Berube, and look, I know they just signed Berube to what? Was it a 5-year contract or a 4-year contract?
4 years.
4-year contract. I see him right now being on a really, really short leash.
Well, here's the thing, Guy. Here's the way you've got to look at it. I greatly appreciate the way you look at it, and the human aspect should be a part of the game. These are human beings. They're not just guys they can use and spit out like professional sports has done for years. I think that the NHL, the NFL, MLB have to do some better things to really take care of some of these issues. But maybe these old style coaches wouldn't be so much about winning if they knew they could do their best to put a good product on the field, treat their players right, and not get fired. Because it is about winning. If they don't win, they get fired. So what do you want them to do, Guy? I mean, you can be lovey-dovey. You can change your way you coach, and then you lose because you can't coach people.
There's a difference. Stop, Lance. There's an absolute difference between winning and winning at all cost. It's the win at all cost. That's what cost. There was something said today with the Lou Lamoriello firing of Barry Trotz that just rung in my head. There must have been something in the exit interviews about, because Lou Lamoriello, we need a new voice somewhere. And you've talked about coaches having a shelf life, especially coaches like Trotz and Berube and Quinville and things like that. Quinville was good enough to get through it. What my position is, it's not being fired because you're not winning. It's the win at all cost.
Well,
right?
I know this for a fact, and I'll say it right here in the public. I will say it right here in the public. I know why Trotz got fired. A buddy of mine is a writer for the Islanders. I'm not going to say his name because he told me not to mention his name. Trotz got fired because of a control struggle. He wanted to take the team in one direction, and also he didn't give the okay on some of those off-season signings last year, like Parise and Chara. Trotz did not want, especially Chara. He was iffy. He was iffy on Parise, but he definitely didn't want Chara. And Lou likes to be in control. If you talk to anybody in Toronto, Lou likes to be in control, and Trotz likes to be in control too. And a lot of it.
Here you go. There you go. There's your control right here. 3 championship banners in New Jersey, and 5 finals. But I will say, in Toronto, he didn't have control. That I know for a fact. He was part of a committee, and that's why he left, because he knew he wasn't going to be on as general manager. Shanahan always wanted Dubas to be there. They just needed a figurehead in Toronto. As far as the Islanders go, I agree with that, because everybody down here in this area scratched their head when Lou Lamoriello signed Zdeno Chara. They're like, what are you doing? This does not help Barry Trotz whatsoever. Parisi you could get with the depth move there. Okay, he's been there, but the loyalties that Lou Lamoriello has to players, especially guys like Palmieri, Andy Green, his Devils days, the mistakes that happened after the 2012 Stanley Cup final are rearing their ugly heads with the Islanders right now. Not to
I'm
mention,
gonna let you show the comments today. I'll take them down if I think it's been
yeah,
up too long.
Yeah,
and,
cool? and you know what, Jim? The thing about it is that you're going to be shocked at this. I watch probably 35. I probably watch around 35 to 40 games of every team in the NHL. I don't watch their whole season. But from the moment Chara stepped on the ice, and I told people beforehand, it's a terrible signing. Halfway through the season, Jim, guess what Blues fans wanted? They wanted Zdeno Chara. And I'm like, are you people idiots?
No.
Yeah, it's not 7 years ago, Chara. It's Chara in a nursing home Chara. So,
right.
And hey, there's nothing wrong with a GM wanting to be in control. But it's hard to have a GM and a coach that both want to be in control, and they're controlling coaches and GMs. I mean, you got to look at Mike Keenan. Mike Keenan wanted both, and look at how that turned out with the Blues. He was gone. They even chose him over Wayne Gretzky. So, it's a tough thing. And Guy, I understand. I think it needs to go not just to the GM level. It needs to go to the ownership level and beyond that, because these owners, they want to win. They want to make money. They want to bring home a cup. They want playoff success, but at what cost? Do you drive these guys to where you're not treating them like human beings? Do you cover up things like happened in Chicago because you want to win so bad? I fully agree with that part of what you're saying, but it's got to start at the top. It can't start with the coaches, because that ain't going to work.
No, I agree. I don't disagree there, but I think my point is getting missed a little bit, right? My point is this. There are a lot of coaches in the league right now that are in that mold, in the Quenneville mold. And that's what I'm getting at, right? And it's not all of them, but it's the older ones. It's Quenneville. It's Trotz. And I think it's Berube too, right? It's Wilson. It's Boudreau, and I'm probably missing somebody that I should know right off the top of my head.
You've got McClellan in LA. He's kind of that type of coach.
Yeah, right. The guys like that are this. Here we go. I can give you a prime example of the win at all cost, where it's not as bad as the Chicago situation. But it takes the human aspect. It doesn't take the human aspect into consideration. And to me, that's Berube, Booberry, as I used to call him, with Kyrou, right?
Yep.
This is that win at all cost, right? This is him telling a player one thing, he does it, he makes a mistake, and then telling him something else. Mm-hmm. The confusion of the player. I'm telling you, I absolutely thought that Kyrou was going to be a major superstar in this league. And then he comes back from the All-Star game, and Berube just chops his legs out from under him and starts going off on him on the bench and things like that. Well, now the human aspect of this comes in. What is he doing to this kid? And yes, he's what, 23, 24?
He's 23.
23. He's still a kid to me, okay?
Yeah, he's a kid.
What are you doing to this mind, this still developing mind, with the way you're going at him? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And for me, that is a concern. And it's not just what happened in Chicago. It's not just, and not only this, look at the coaches the Blues have had in the past, the last three coaches, right? Let's go back 3 coaches. The first one we get is Hitchcock, and we had Hitchcock for 10 years. Hitchcock was that ilk, and it was obvious, and there were player and coach conflicts.
We're not
consistently.
We're not, Kevin.
No.
What did I do now?
Kevin said we can't be putting it all on Berube, and I just told him we're not doing that.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
no,
not.
no.
He's just giving you examples, Kevin.
I'm making examples. I'm not putting anything on Berube.
By the way, Jim, it's nice to meet you finally. I've seen you on the show before.
Hey, nice to meet you, by the way. But no, seriously, but like the rift with Lou and stuff, why do you think Brodeur left the Devils for so long and went to St. Louis? I mean, I can tell you on air from multiple people that said Lou went to Brodeur and said, do you think you can fire these guys that you just played with? That left a bad taste in his mouth. Why do you think he retired as a Blue?
Yep.
I mean, his old ways, the no beards, this whole thing, this Yankee mentality that he has, it's so doesn't need to be in the game anymore. Like, I like what he did for the Devils. He took them from obscurity to a championship team, but when he left them in shambles. And Tom Fitzgerald is now picking up the pieces of this team.
Yeah.
Barry Trotz took the Islanders from the worst defensive team in the league to the best defensive team in the league. Who are you replacing him with? Okay. Yeah. Did he have a problem with Matt Barzal? Probably.
Yeah, he did.
But you know what? Good coaches push their best players, and you can clearly see that around the league. So
Robert Morton makes a really good point, but there's a difference between this. He says that Berube has gotten tanked to be the best all-around player he's ever been. That's right, but he didn't get him until he was 28 years old.
That's right.
27, 28 years old. By the time he got him, he was able to accept. Yeah. He was able to accept that style of coaching in a better way, in a mentally correct way.
And Guy, going along with the age, he was in his prime when players are their best. So that's why he got so good. And another thing I'm going to tell you, I had a ton of coaches who coached me. I actually did better the ones that were really hard on me because I wanted to win terribly. Now, did I want to win so terribly to where, like I want to kill somebody, so I want my teammates to kill somebody on the ice? No, but I appreciated that drive because it fed on the players. But I also had coaches that were that way and they would bear into you. But if you had a personal problem and it was a human problem, not an on-ice problem, they were the first person to put their arm around you and set you down and talk to you to see if they could help. I think you need coaches that kind of can do both. You need a coach.
Who's the best coach in the NHL right now? Who in your mind is the best coach in the NHL right now? And I have one, and I think it will surprise you.
John Cooper.
I'll start with Jim. With Jim.
I think it's Mike Sullivan.
Okay. Lance?
John Cooper of Tampa.
Ashley?
I'm trying to look up his name. Daryl Sutter.
Well, see, Sutter's in that, and I said Wilson, and I meant Sutter.
Yeah,
right? Well, Sutter's up in Calgary.
Throw Ron Wilson in that category too. I mean, if you wanted to,
but he's not coaching right now, is he?
No, he's not.
No. Yeah, that's who I couldn't remember Sutter. That's who I meant.
That's why I had to look up the name because you had me confused.
But here's the thing. I agree with Lance. John Cooper is the best coach in the NHL right now, and you know why John Cooper is the best coach in the NHL right now? Watch what he does with those guys. Right? He rarely calls them out. He defends them. He protects them. And when they make a mistake, he lets them know mistakes happen. Let's get it back. That is why I think he's the best coach out there. And yes, he is somewhat, maybe in the locker room, I think he's hard on these guys.
He is. He's very hard in the locker room.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely hard on these guys in the locker room for sure.
But once he hits that bench, I think he's a different person.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Oh, he definitely is. I mean, you see all these guys, Sullivan, all these guys, these new school coaches. I mean, look, Sullivan went through the Penguins organization. Cooper's been through the organization with Tampa. You just look at those guys and you just see, okay, you know what? And even, you can even throw Martin St. Louis. I mean, we're not going to say he's the best coach right now, but he's in that category of where, you know what? He's in the press room. He's like, you know what? Mistakes happen as long as we can clean some things up. You know, we work on it in practice. Like, you can see, like, the mentality's changing. Like, Sutter's from the old school, but this year, I noticed he's changed his style a lot more than he has in years past in regards to the way he coached on the ice. Like, he's not playing that old King system anymore because he knows it don't work.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I did the best with guys that would get onto me at practice, get onto me in the locker room, behind closed doors, and make, I appreciated that much better. I had a few coaches that would yell at me during the game, and that just made me want to be better. It didn't really affect me. But I know some of the guys that he yelled at, it did affect them because he took it a little too far. Because, I mean, these kids were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 years old. Yeah. They're kids, you know, and they're
trying to play it for fun.
That's right. You know, a lot of these kids, their parents sometimes push them to play, or they're doing it just for fun. And I know every kid when they play wants to be in the NHL, but most of them know they're probably not going to make it by the time they get in their teens. But you know what? Right? You've got to make it fun for the kids to play. Otherwise, they're not going to. If you ask Keith Kachuk, Matthew Kachuk, all the Kachucks, did you have fun where you played in high school? Oh, heck yeah, they had fun. They loved it. If they wouldn't have fun.
I want to address this comment. He says, I don't know. Thomas seems to play pretty good, and he's a young guy. You're right. But something happened this season. And right after that happened, Thomas went from here to here.
Yep.
What was that? What was that thing that happened? And as soon as it happened, Thomas went from this level to this level. Right? Who is that? I can't tell who that.
That is Chris Pronger.
Pronger, okay. But something happened, and I'm wondering, what is it that happened that took Thomas from the mid-level, a young guy, to a superstar, and it happened like that?
You and I know what happened.
I know. I'm waiting to see if somebody else catches it. I think Ashley knows.
Ashley knows.
You know what I'm talking about, Ashley?
I think so.
Right, Jim? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, if I can take an educated guess, because I could probably, it's the same trend that's happened with younger players throughout the league.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I think he was put in the right situation to succeed.
You're close. Something else, no, but something on the ice physically happened, and the next day Thomas went on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Ashley, I'm going to go to Ashley now. I haven't seen anybody put it up yet.
I think I'm wrong then, because I thought that his scoring all improved when the team started suffering from COVID. When all the big stars went out, he stepped up.
It started to, but remember that big old 18, 19 game streak he had when everything was going really right? That happened right after something else happened.
He almost got voted into the All-Star game?
No, Tarasenko stood up for him.
Yeah.
But Ruby started to chew him out on the ice.
And he was coming close to him. He was
skated right over, got between him on the ice during a game, and says, we don't do that. Right there, Thomas's game changed like that. I mean, instantly, Thomas went to another level. His mind was, okay, I don't need to worry anymore. Somebody's got my back. Yep. I know somebody's got my back. Mm-hmm. And he did it in front of everybody. That is the difference between Kyrou and Thomas. Mm-hmm. And Kyrou, for whatever reason, nobody has done that and stepped up for him. Now, I don't know, and I'm not I'm not saying anything. I don't know if there's an issue in the locker room. I don't know if there's a line mate. I don't know if he got a big head after the All-Star game. But he got chewed out just like Thomas did, and nobody stood up for him. I'm telling you, I used to think that there was nothing to the tank and the captain stuff, and I still don't think there is, but I think not becoming the captain made Tarasenko a better leader, and he is the leader on this team right now.
I don't know necessarily that no one has stood up for Kyrou, but you have to consider that Thomas has been on a line with Tarasenko all season. So they've meshed well, they've bonded, and I think that's what pretty much since the beginning.
Well, you had the Spetsna
there was
line
like 3 weeks of the Spetsna line whenever
2
Thomas was injured.
Right.
That came together when Thomas went out.
Okay.
And then when they let it go for a couple more weeks when he came back, but then they put Thomas right back with Tarasenko.
Yeah. I think they had 2 bad games and then they put it back.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. I remember Tarasenko doing that, and it's like Thomas's game went.
Oh yeah, to know
Right
that your
after.
line mate has your back would be a huge confidence boost.
Right.
But I don't think that it's not that people haven't done it for Kyrou. They just haven't been as obvious. I mean, look at how well Kyrou played yesterday, and Berube was even sitting there saying, "Oh, he could have had 4 or 5 goals, but I guess he
And
just
you know
wanted
what?
2."
And it's Berube's fault that he doesn't, and that's what I thought was funny about that. But he let Kyrou play his game yesterday, right? He let Kyrou make a couple of mistakes and didn't get on him about them.
Yeah, what
There's
a
a
goal
big
by
difference.
Kyrou. What a
Yeah.
beauty.
Mhm.
That was a beauty of a goal yesterday in that game. That was beautiful. Ryan O'Reilly had a heck of a game yesterday. Glad to
David
see
Perron.
Yeah.
Perron's had a
Hey,
great series.
yeah,
Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
he has.
Hey,
He's
Jim.
great series.
Hey,
he's
Jim.
second in scoring for the playoffs.
I don't know if you know this or not. All of us do, Ashley and Guy and I. But this season, when the Blues played the Penguins, after the game was over, Sidney Crosby went to Kyrou and got his signed stick from him. Sidney
That's
Crosby
sick.
doesn't do that with every young player.
No, he doesn't do that. No, he doesn't do that. By the way, I got as a guy knows, I have the for the Sports Interaction betting website. This is the Blues Wild series is the one I'm covering.
Cool.
For the lines and everything. They literally have this series at a pick'em. Like
Yep.
legit it's a pick'em series.
Mhm.
My guess it's going 7. But it's ridiculous how tight
I
this
think
series
it's
has
going
been.
6. I actually think whoever wins tomorrow takes this series. That's how important I think tomorrow is, right? I really do.
I like the adjustments Berube made, put Bennington in. That's the move that had to be made.
Absolutely, it did.
And the fact of the matter that they did it without Krug, Leddy, Bertuzzo is even testament to this team and what they have. Depth.
But I mean, Scandella was only in the game for like 3 shifts.
I know, and so what do they play? Like 5 defensemen the whole game?
No, they played 7 defensemen and 11 forwards. So when they went down 1, it was 11 forwards and 6.
But I
defensemen.
think the other guy, the new one, he only played like 5 minutes of the game.
No, I think Santini only played like 3 minutes.
You mean Santini or
only
Rosen?
played like.
Rosen played more. Rosen played like 19 minutes.
Yeah, Rosen played about 19.
Perunovic played about 12 and a half.
Mhm.
Mikula did good, but the impressive part was Falk played 31 and Pareko played 30.
Yeah, that's very impressive. No, yeah, I've been impressed with this Blues team.
Guess who wasn't in practice today?
No, neither of those guys were. Nope, neither of those guys were. No, but I like this Blues team. I've been a fan. God knows, I'm a fan of this Blues team. I like the way they play. Big fan. Big fan of David Perron. I like the way the guy plays. So I mean, this is my favorite series to watch so far. I mean, and
it's been. At first, I didn't think it was the best series. I thought that the Pittsburgh Rangers series was the best series. The Toronto Lightning was second, and this one was third. But this one has jumped into second for me, right? This one has jumped into second. Right now, Washington has a chance to go up 3-1 on Florida. It's 2-1 with 4:39 to go in the third. And then in the other one, the last I saw,
it was 6-2 or 6-3 last time I saw.
Yeah, the Penguins were burying the Rangers, and I think that's going to put the Penguins up 3-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then tonight you have I don't think Kemper's out, and Kemper, even when he comes back, he's not going to be right.
Oh,
he's
7-2.
Not going to be right, huh?
It's 7-2 Pittsburgh.
7-2. Wow, they're going to go up 3-1 on that. That's a shocker to me. I thought that series was a 7 no matter what, and it still could be, but
it's going to be tough for the Rangers to force that.
Well, the good thing is Rangers got Game 5 in Madison Square Garden, and I think that that's the one that they need. I mean, obviously it's a must win, but it's the easiest win of the 3.
All games will be a must win from there.
Yeah.
They might win Game 5, but they ain't winning Game 6.
But it's what I'm saying is having Game 5 in your building, it makes it an easier win, especially with the way the series is going. Right? At least that's how I feel about it.
Absolutely.
I hope you're wrong tomorrow.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I mean, I think the Rangers' underlining analytics of being a poor defensive team I've finally caught up to them in this series. It like with Washington, with what Pittsburgh's doing, what Dallas is doing. Teams that can play good defensive, structured style hockey in the playoffs are slowing down these high-powered offenses, clogging up the neutral zone. And there's a reason why the Devils won 3 championships with this neutral zone trap. It works. As much as people hate it, it works. But it's interesting to see that the Penguins and Sidney Crosby can still, when people doubt them, this is when they rise to the next level and take their game to the next level. And Lance, when you were saying earlier, when you play under like these coaches that push you the best, that's what I did too. And I try to push my teammates to be better as well. Like that whole Jordan speech in Last Dance. That's you. I want them to win just as much as I want to win, but do it within limits. So, I mean, that's just me. But you know what? The playoffs have been good for me. I've been loving it every night except tonight because I wish, these games were a little bit more staggered. I like the staggered start times. I don't like both
I do
games
too.
being
I
on
like
same
the staggered
time.
start times. We talked about that a lot. I like the staggered start times. There was a something up here that I want. Robert Morton says, can you put this up, Ash?
Yep.
Anyway, guys, I got to run. Thanks for
Great,
having
Jim.
me on.
Yeah, no
And
problem, Jim. Thank you, man. We,
Yep.
we
Always
enjoy
good to
it,
see
bud.
ya.
Anytime, my friend.
Always good to see you guys. Thanks, Lance. Nice to
Yeah,
meet
Jim,
you.
have a good one.
Yep, you too, Jim.
Bye, Jim.
Bye.
He says, in all honesty, talking D injury problems, at what point does our D depth even out with playing a forward down low to dress an extra forward? Probably stupid, but just a thought. It's been brought up before. Now, for me, there's a big difference. A D-man going to play forward is not as big of a change as a forward going to play defense, right? If you ever look, a defender, they do 2 things that forwards almost never do. First of all, they're consistently skating backwards, almost always skating backwards, right? I mean, almost always. They have to have power when they skate backwards, not just gliding. They have to skate backwards with power. That's not an easy thing. That's why most defensemen are bigger guys, or if they're smaller guys like Torrey, you ever look at Torrey's hips, he doesn't have an hourglass figure, he's got big old mean hips. And that's why he can do that. And there's very few, Florida just tied it up. There's very few guys that go from defense to forward. I mean, you'll see a guy, forward going from forward to defense. Mm-hmm. You rarely see somebody who's a forward get shifted to defense. You'll see a defender get shifted to forward, but not the other way. It's a thought, I just don't see it happening.
Do you know who did it? Went from forward to defense? Mr. Beard himself, number 88 in San Jose.
Oh, Thornton?
Burns.
Okay.
Yeah, when he was with Minnesota, he played some forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
But wasn't he a defender normally?
Well, when he first started there, he played a lot more forward. So I don't know.
He went from forward to defenseman.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
But you know what? I can't think of too many people past that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one in a billion there, almost. Well, one in 10, 15,000, whatever it is, how many other guys have played, how many hockey players are out there, whatever. But but actually, it's not a bad thought. And I killed somebody in a group for the thought because it was just like put Joshua in as a defender. I wouldn't put Joshua as a defender. If there was any forward out there that I thought on the Blues that I think could play defense, it would be Torpachenko. Right? I think he's got that big body, he's got that long stick, and he's got an eye for the puck. Right? He's got a feel for the puck. So he seems to always be around the puck. Right? Am I wrong? Right? Maybe.
I don't think he could. I just don't. I think he's got a good sense, like you said, of where the puck is and stuff. But you're asking a guy that's never played defense before, which he hasn't, to all of a sudden play in a league that's got the best players in it.
Yeah.
To me,
I don't see it. I'm sorry, guys.
Who else? What other forward could you put at defense?
We don't have
Nobody.
another forward.
Nobody.
I mean, I think that Barbie could handle the skating backwards part, but he is terrible at staying on his man. O'Reilly's a great two-way player. So is Tarasenko, but obviously Tarasenko couldn't man the point on a power play.
Yeah,
I mean,
was.
it's just
I mean, but
not
you know what?
feasible.
That's not fair to Tarasenko because that's a position that he's never ever had to do. And when you man the point, you have to see things a lot differently. And here's a guy that's used to playing the power play like this.
It would be the same for Torpachenko.
Maybe. And
honestly, you want to know who would make a good defense in a pinch? Jordan Bennington.
Yeah, but he needs to be in the net.
I mean, we got Husso. Put Husso in the net. Bring up Charlie Sideburns for everybody else to back up. Put Bennington in D. You'll get some swinging sticks and all kinds of fun stuff then.
I think he's a little too small to play defense. So he's like
look at Torrey Krug.
I think he's 6. Yeah, no, he's 6'6", but he's like 175, 180 pounds. Right?
No, Bennington isn't that tall. I think he's
he's
6'1".
not that tall. He's 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, but he's under 2, I think, or he's right at 2.
He's right around 200 pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
He's 6'2" and 174 pounds.
Pounds, yeah. Okay, I'm 6'2" and I'm 230. Now I've got a little bit of a chunk, but I'm not a big man either, right? So and I've been 170. In fact, Lance, remember when the first time you met me, I was about 185.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember how tiny I looked then? Right? When I had gone through my breakdown and hadn't been eaten? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where I would have been, my friend. That's absolutely where I would have been. Where are we at? Oh, what a good show today, guys. What a good show. What do you think the first round of the playoffs? Any series out there surprise you? Any series that, and then we'll ask, is the Colorado series over? I'll start with Lance.
I thought, and this is before I heard that Soros was hurt, that the Predators would give Colorado a little bit harder, way to win. And I'll tell you, I think if Soros was in, although past game one, they didn't put Riddick in, which was very smart because game one he got destroyed. That one a little surprising me, but like I said, when Soros said he was hurt, but he was only supposed to be hurt for a couple games. I don't know what's going on. I think the Tampa-Toronto series is like I thought it was going to be. I think the Blues and Wild series is like I thought it was going to be. I really don't have a lot of surprises. I knew the Edmonton Kings series would be tough, but I couldn't see the Kings being up, this quick, this early. So,
well, that one's tied, right? That's at 2-2, I think. All the series from yesterday.
I thought it was 3-1.
I thought it was 3-1 too.
Yeah, 3-1.
Maybe Kings. I'm wrong. I thought.
Yeah, because if you watched that game the other night, Grant and I talked about it.
Oh no, it's 2-2.
Is it 2-2?
Yeah, everything is 2-2. Everything on the first day is 2-2.
The league, guy, we need to talk about this because we talked about it a lot. The league needs to do something with this dang interpretation of what is goalie interference and what's not. When a player falls, I don't care if another player pulls him down and he falls into the goalie. That puck should not be counted if it goes over the goal because you pushed the goalie in. And that Kings game the other night, Edmonton was playing well, and the Kings did that with about 5 minutes left, and they pushed Mike Smith into the goal, and they called it a clean goal, even after reviewing it. The league needs to do something about it, and all these misconducts that they're giving these guys in the playoffs, it's too much. They're in one game they'll call a misconduct when it should be called, and the next game they won't call a misconduct. Yeah. And the officiating is just terrible all around in these playoffs, like it is every year.
David Backus put out a tweet today, and I thought it was really interesting. Right? He says, I played 15 years in the league, and I can't remember one time. I don't think the league never gave me a rule book.
No, they don't. You don't get a rule book.
Think about that. Mm-hmm. Right? And he goes, and then he makes a joke. That's why I broke the rules all the time because I didn't know what they were. But well, here's the thing. The rule book is available. I can go look at the rule book right now.
I've got it.
Right? I know for media it's available. I don't know if it's available. I think it is available to anybody.
I think it is available to anybody.
Right. But the players should have a better understanding of what
Yes,
it
they
is.
should.
And not only that, I think another issue that we've seen a lot in this playoffs has been delay a game, puck over the glass, not being reviewable. I really do think that needs to be a reviewable play, right? I really do. That is not a judgment call. I know it's a penalty, and they don't want to review penalties. However, you allow goaltender interference, and if it's called goaltender interference, then that's a penalty. So you're reviewing a penalty, right?
Well,
So
we've also seen, though, Guy, and you've seen it, and Ashley's seen it, to where they'll say it's goaltender interference, but the guy doesn't, it's no goal, but the guy doesn't get a penalty. I've seen it both ways. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got to go one way or the other. Oh my goodness, that was a squelch.
Yep.
Did you see that mom look? That mom look
Yeah.
of what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Allie's trying to find a snack that Leia wants, and apparently she does not want Pop-Tarts or goldfish. She wants
She's
pretzels.
Little picky.
Pretzels. Yeah. Oh wow.
Anywho,
they
since
pulled
I
the
didn't get to
Florida goal
answer.
off.
Go ahead.
They pulled the Florida goal off.
Oh, cool. Anyways, the series that surprises me is actually the Florida and the Washington, but also one that I don't think anyone else is going to mention is the Dallas and Calgary series. I think that Dallas is playing a lot better than I expected.
I agree with the Dallas and Calgary series. Actually, no, they did. I don't think they pulled it off. I can't tell now. It looks like they may have done something with it, but I can't completely
I'm trying
tell.
to look it up.
Right.
But those were my two.
Yeah. No, for me, I thought now with the Colorado series, if Saros comes back tonight with Kemper out, I think they have a chance to take this back to Colorado. I really do.
And no, we're going to overtime, bud.
Okay, we are going to overtime in that one, right? Brad Pond wants the Blues to win the Stanley Cup. I'd like them to win it too, but I think, Brad, you want them to win it every single year. Like you always.
I mean,
want them to
I
win
do too.
Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting your team to win the cup.
It's accepting
But-
the fact that it probably won't happen and just
yeah.
being excited along the way.
There's certain fan bases up in the province of Toronto, the province of Ontario, that think their team is the best team every year and that they get rooked out of the Stanley Cup every year. But I'm not going to mention the Maple Leafs.
Of course not.
Their
Toronto.
fans,
Toronto.
I've been up there and I've seen their fans and talked to their fans. They love them to death, and I love their passion. But I can't stand it that every year, we got the pieces. We're going to win. We're going to win.
Yeah.
And it gets old, and even people in St. Louis, when we had a good team, will say, yeah, we got a chance to win. But there were years where people knew here in St. Louis, we weren't going to make it to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Now 16, of most recent years, 16 was the year I thought we were going to make it. I thought we had the team. I really, really did. Right. I thought we were the better team in all three of the series that we played in. I thought we were the better team in the first series against Chicago. We had trouble closing them out. We were up 3-1 in that series. I thought we were the best team against Dallas, and that one goes 7. I thought we were the better team against the Sharks, and the Sharks just that was the Shark series reminds me of this Wild series. The Sharks are in 19. The 19 series does. But the 16 series, the team that scored first won every game. Right? That's happened so far. Right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's feeling better now, so she wanted to socialize.
Hey, girl.
He said hi. She said hi.
Okay. Right? She likes me a little bit.
Yeah, she's got to say hi to you.
No, I don't think we got tired in 16. I think we just got to a point where we got in our own heads, right? We got in our own heads very, very quickly, and yeah, I was in San Jose for Game 6.
Yeah.
I was maybe 20 miles from the stadium. I was watching it with I went to game 4, right? Watched Game 5 while I was in San Francisco, and in Game 6, my oldest daughter's college roommate was from San Jose, and we went and had dinner with their family for their graduation. So that's what we ended up doing that night. And yeah, I had to drive back with tears in my eyes. I mean, alligator tear. Everyone else is sleeping, and I'm just letting them go. I'm just letting them go because I thought that was it. I thought that was it. I really did. The Blues have Randy Vaughn. Oh, that's a new guy. I don't think I've ever seen Randy before. Welcome to the show, Randy. Thank you for joining us. The Blues have the team this year to go to the Cup if we get our 3 defensemen back. Well, that's a big if, and I don't want to ever put it on an injury, right? They played better defensively last night than they had all season.
I
not all
agree.
season, but all playoff.
I was really impressed with Mikkola and with Rosen, and of course, Falk and Parayko pulling the weight they did.
Yeah.
I mean, Perunovic, that was his first game in 4 months, and he still managed to pull off 12 minutes and be point on the power play. I was really impressed.
No, and then the power play, that first power play, you can say that 4-minute power play, oh, it's bad because they didn't score. They took 7 shots. They took 7 shots. That power play is what put Minnesota on the heels, right? The only negative that I came out of the first period was they completely outplayed Minnesota but gave up a goal in the 4th shot. You cannot
they
do
didn't
that.
get the 4th shot until
14 and a half minutes into the game, right? I think that some of the lineup's going to change, right? Roman Pollock announced his retirement. Yeah, I think I heard that, right? I do see I can see the Spezza line staying together, right? Because I don't think they had a bad game.
I really think that they liked the combination of Saad, Thomas, and Kyrou together, and I also think that they like Shen with
O'Reilly and
O'Reilly.
Perron.
Yeah, sorry, my daughter's distracting me.
Yeah, no, I did too, and I thought that, you know what, Nathan, when we can find me a sponsor, someone that wants to help me get there, and when we can find a sponsor, a bar or a clothing store or something like that'd be willing to bring me in with my gear, let me do shows, highlight their stuff. When we can find me that type of sponsor, then I will probably be home for a game. Right? Got to make money off this thing first, because not making money is not good. Actually, I'm going to start dashing, I think, next week. Right?
That's how I make my quick money.
Yeah. So I mean, it might help me. I got a couple of bills that I really need to get paid, and not working is hurting. But at the same time, I want to do this show as much as possible. So that's why I'm trying to do it. I went and seen Marvel last night. Doctor Strange last night. Wore my glasses again. Didn't do the 3D, but wore my glasses. Well, of course it's going 6. It's going 6. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. It's the best 2 out of 3, right? It's the best 2 out of 3.
Yes, he needs a patron to help him finance his trip.
Well, I know what he's talking. There's a website called Patron. I don't put up enough content. And I don't like having, what do you call? No, I did not see your message, Ian. It depends on when you sent it, my friend. Depends on when you sent it and what message you're talking about. I don't see anything. So he might be talking about when he missed the game and said, oh, you guys are lucky I missed the game for, that's why I couldn't watch the last 5 minutes is why we didn't tire it up. But, so I think that's what he's talking about. We love you, Ian, and I think you know that. I think you know that we give you crap, but we love it. Penguins are now up 3-1. Wow, man, there's some. I didn't think any series was going to go 5 games, and now you've got what 2 series, maybe 2 series at a bare minimum, 2 series that that are 3-1 or 3-0, and you could have a third series today depending on what happens. That's the one. Right. For me, I've done some dissecting of the last game, And I got to tell you, I like the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fight a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that the Blues, if they can go into Minnesota with that same fight, they're going to win. And by the way, Bonnie O'Reilly, you need to go to Minnesota tomorrow because you had your son charged up. And I'm sorry, that woman did not look old enough to be his
Oh
mother.
no. Oh no. She looks like she's his sister.
Yeah, she did not look like, because he's in his 30s, right? 31, 32. So, she's got to be, bare minimum,
50.
48. But I think she's, 54, 55, and she didn't look it at all, right? She did not look it at all. Yeah, I actually see. I'm worried because I picked the Rangers to go to the Eastern Conference. I picked the Rangers to be the Stanley Cup Finals out of the East. I could have my bracket broken in the first one out, second one out. Tomorrow's going to be fun. Oh my goodness, tomorrow with everybody being 2-2. Everybody's 2-2.
Pretty much.
You have, first of all, you have that Toronto. Tampa Bay series that's 2-2. That's game 5 is huge for that series. It's bigger for Tampa or for Toronto than it is Tampa, right? But that is huge. You have the Boston series at 2-2. That was one where no one would have thought Carolina and Boston would be 2-2, but here they are, right? And then, this Panther series, what's going to happen with it? And then what's the other series, that the King series, right? Being 2-2. We knew the Central teams were good.
Yeah.
Right. And you're looking at right now, 3 of them have a chance to advance. Right. Three of them have a chance to advance, and you were going to get 2 or 3, and it looks like you could get 3.
Absolutely.
Right, it really does look like you're going to get 3. Let the record show. I've been saying Colorado in 4, Pens in 6, Stars in 7 for a week now. That's possible. I actually think the Rangers are going to come back. I really do. I have that feeling. Pleasantly surprised about the Caps as the Caps fan. Yeah, they're at 18:44 with 18:44 to go in OT. It's 2-2. We talked about that earlier. That's one of those where it's not a surface firing. There's something underneath the surface.
I really think that it was just a fight for power between Barry and Lou.
But it was something that was said in one of the shows about. Something came out in the exit interviews, right? So all the players get an exit interview, and they get it with the coach and the GM. A lot of times it's with them together. Sometimes it's not. I have a feeling that these were with it not, and there were things said to the GM to Lou that is just. But then again, Lou's 80 years old, so he might have lost his gourd.
I think he probably lost his gourd and twisted it. And if he's fighting Barry for power on who's going to make the decisions, it's an easy to get rid of him.
Yeah. I think he'll be back. I really do. He's one of those. Now, he has a year on his contract, but it sounds like now if they don't let him come back, it's on Lou. Let him come back, it's on him. Right? That to me, that's the difference, If Lou stops it, then it was something Trotz did for the firing. But if he lets it go, then it was something Lou did. I had that reversed. Right? Then it's on Lou for the firing. So that's where I am with that right now. I know that, but sometimes, I was listening. Because it was so surprising, I wanted to listen to what guys that had played for Lou, guys that had played for Trotz, what those guys had said. And it was one of the guys that had played for Lou in Detroit or in New Jersey that came off with, something in the exit interviews. And that was telling to me, right? Really, really telling to me. So okay, bud. We'll see you tomorrow if you can. So Avs clinching tonight could throw them off by sitting too long. I don't think they clinch tonight. I really don't. I think. Well, first of all, and we didn't talk about this. What the Predators got absolutely screwed in the last game. I mean, they had 2 goals that were, one was allowed and one was called back.
Yep.
That would have absolutely changed the complexion of that game, right? The refs to me gave that game to Colorado, right? Without even thinking twice about it, they gave that game to Colorado. However, I thought that for the most part, the Preds outplayed them, right? And I think
I think their goalie is Ingram now, and I'm really surprised with him.
Yeah, he's played well, right? He's played well, and let's see what happens. But I think Saros could come back today.
Hopefully.
Right? I would like to see Saros come back. Right? Let's see what happens, and that's the best we can do. Actually, I think, well, I don't know. They could get cold, but I think that my concern is that this series, these guys beating each other up makes them healthier. And healthier helps you in the long run. Even if you're cold and you lose one game, by the second game you're not cold anymore, right? So that's
but if you get it narrowly handed to you in the first game because you're cold, it's going to take a lot to get back into the second game because your psyche's going to be messed up.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I just I have my thought process on it, and I just think that it's going to come down to how bad did the Wild and Blues beat each other up. Tomorrow's a telling game. Tomorrow is a really telling game. If the Blues don't go out to hit, the Blues play smart hockey and hit when necessary, right? If necessary, and not look to hit, then this will absolutely be in the Blues' favor.
And for the record, Saros is not in, Ingram's in, and it is 1-0 Colorado already.
Wow. Okay, well, that changes that. Yeah, well, I guess Saros' injury was a lot worse than what they thought. Because originally he was only supposed to miss 2 games.
Yeah.
So
much for that.
Are you ready for tomorrow?
Absolutely, buddy.
Tomorrow is going to be a fun one. Tomorrow is going to be an absolute fun one. I'm looking forward to it. And I like how the show's getting some strength. I like how we're bringing on different guys and we're getting some friends and things like that. I watched another show today, and I watched it because of the 3, I like one of the guys that's on the show a lot, right? I don't like the other. Well, I want to say I don't like the other 2. I don't have any feelings towards them one way or the other, but I watched it and I was the only one watching it. So with the fact that we have 11, 12, 15, 20 guys, 35 guys watching us tells me something, right? And we just got to keep doing what we're doing. And, we got to start looking. That doesn't even
count who watch it later because they're working. Yeah. We know that we got several people that watch later.
Yeah, and that's the good thing. We got people that are interested in us and checking out the shows, and we appreciate it absolutely. It was a weird goal. It went top shelf and out through the net, so they didn't call it at first. Okay, that must be. Oh, well, that's tied it too. Florida just tied it up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so Randy. Well, first of all, Randy, let me say welcome to the show. My name's Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and this is Ashley Slapshot Jones. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please don't forget to give us that thumbs up and tell us that you care, and tell your friends all about the Blue Note Fan Report, because you got to know we are bleeding blue with you. Thanks, Randy. We really appreciate that. Randy says 5-2. I want to see what happens with the morning skate, right? And first of all, if Parayko and Falk are not at the morning skate, I don't care.
As long as they're gonna play.
Yeah, well, they won't be at the morning skate because this is you need to rest your legs, right? You come in and you ride a bike for 20 minutes to stay loose. That's it, right? So that's what I think. So we'll see what happens. I think Connor Ingram should be the backup starting next season. Big Save Dave hasn't shown to be up the backup for the Predators, and he just can't stop. Sucks, and he's also injury prone. Yeah, Predators have some questions next season. The Predators are going to be. Predators is that spot that's open. I think Dallas stays where they are. Winnipeg and Chicago. I don't think Chicago now, but Winnipeg has a chance of taking that spot. And I also think that, and I know this is going to sound really, I want to see what off-season moves that the Coyotes make.
I'm interested in that too, but I mean, there's still some off-season moves that I'm interested in seeing that the Blues make. Or what ends up with Billy Husso? Where does he land?
Good hockey goal. Good hockey goal, they called it. So they reviewed it, but it went back good hockey goal. So, yep, it looks like it counts, man.
It looks like it counts on my end too.
Yeah, they're looking at. I mean, they're talking to the refs now. He's not happy. But it looks like it's going to stay. Right? Oh, I knew who you were talking about. I called Dave Riddick the bounce off the post guy. Right? He's not Big Save Dave anymore. He's bounce off the post guy. Okay, great show, guys. Thanks for joining us. Ashley, thanks for joining us. Good show. I just kind of threw an invite out to Jim. I hope you don't mind that.
Oh, I love Jim. It's fine.
Yeah, we've got some friends out there that, I just throw invites, and if they show up, great. He's one of those guys that he can, and I'm hoping that there's the connection with front page hockey might full press hockey might help us, expand a little bit more. So we'll just keep doing what we can. Okay, guys, this is Guy the Wild Blues fan for Ashley Slaps Out Jones saying aloha mahalo. You got to know we're bleeding blue with you, and we'll see you tomorrow night, an hour before puck drop on the Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha.